Piston, valve, got some brass, let's build it. Hi all, my name is Lee, welcome to the channel. So the previous video we did the flywheel, the crank and some various other bits and pieces, and it's all looking really good at the moment. So today we're going to start working on the final two pieces, which is the piston and the valve, and I'm going to make those out of brass. So there's going to be quite a bit of lathe work, a little bit of milling, but we'll get this complete, put it together, and then we'll see if we can get it working. So let's begin with the piston and let's take a closer look. So the piston should be relatively easy to make. I've got some 1/2 inch brass here. So the main difference between the plans and mine is I've actually made my bore 12 millimeters because I didn't have a 12.5 millimeter reamer to make it smooth. So that's the main difference. I'm going to make mine 12. This section here is a 6 millimeter part, but then I'll need to put it upright in the milling machine and just take that edge off to make it flat. So that's what we'll do first. We'll get this prepped so it fits nicely into the bore, and then we'll cut this connecting component. So I'll face it, clean it up. I've got to be careful on this. This is 12.6 millimeters or so already. I just need to take it down to 12, so just a light piece off of there. And then I need to go down to 6 millimeters a bit further on. The entire length of the whole component is 22.5 millimeters. So I just need to side mill half of the 6 millimeter diameter down to 3 millimeters directly in the middle. And then I'll just make the other side a flat edge as well. So let's do that now. So now I just need a 2.5 millimeter hole for an M3 thread. Piston's looking good, seems to work okay, fits in the bore okay. So the next piece we have to do, the final piece, is the valve. It says to make it out of steel, but I'm going to make it out of brass just because of the colour I prefer. It shouldn't make that much difference to a steam engine like this. So let's jump on the lathe and we'll cut this out. I need to be quite accurate with the dimensions on here. Actually, a slight change of plan. I'm not going to use brass. I'm going to use one of my stainless steel rods. That'd be perfect for that. And it fits perfectly in there. This is already a 6 millimeter rod. So that's going to be a lot easier, and it's already polished, so it's nice and smooth. So this actually needs to be 61 millimeters long, and that's way too much stick out. So what I'm going to do is put a center in it, and I'll try and do everything in one go, but with a center, because it's going to be hanging out here. I'm going to try and do this with the parting tool just because of the straight edges on each of the barrels, but there's a lot more stick out than I would have liked to make room for my centre. I can't get close enough otherwise, but I'll just have to do it like this, and then I'll clean up the end later. So you may notice I've changed to brass rather than stainless steel. I'll explain that in a minute, but what I'll do is I'll just put the flat edge on this and put the hole in, so let's do that. So I've completed the valve and the piston. These are looking pretty good. They fit really well. I ended up going for brass in the end for the valve. And there's a specific reason. I always forget. I'm not very experienced with cutting stainless steel. And I think it just work hardens too hard and it just causes odd mistakes and it starts to bend and it just doesn't cut very well. What I've found is when I've been practicing stainless steel, it's always much easier to use bigger pieces and take deep cuts relatively quickly, just so it doesn't seem to work harden. I think that's what's happening because you start cutting and it seems really easy and then literally within a second or two, it just suddenly it doesn't want to cut anymore. So I think that's work hardening. But if anyone knows for sure, let me know. So I gave up with the stainless steel in the end. I wasn't happy with the finish. So I just made it out of brass and that works perfectly fine. So what I'm going to do now is we're just going to assemble everything we have just to see what it looks like. So let's do that now. Okay, so it's looking really good. I can immediately see my spacers are too big, obviously because I've used a thinner body. I think I need to just do some fettling to get this absolutely accurate. What I think I'm also going to do is I might possibly drill an M3 thread into there and use a grub screw to hold the flywheel onto the crankshaft. And then I'll glue the actual crank on. And that means I can always readjust it to try and get the timing right. As far as I'm aware, this has to be 90 degrees. But I'll just read the instructions in the next video and we'll assemble it properly and give it a test run. But for now, I'm pretty happy with where we are at the moment. Everything seems to look pretty good. Everything seems to move correctly. So it is looking very good. I'm really pleased with it at the moment. So thanks for watching and I'll catch you on the next one where we finally finish it, we polish it all up, we build it and we test it properly. So thanks. Cheers.